Hey mathematicians, and happy Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. Make sure you have your Chromebook charged and ready to go. Math binder or paper, pencil, whiteboard would be great, and a writing utensil. Today we're going to focus on finding the surface area of a 3D figure. So we've been talking a lot about 2D figures or flat figures, and now we're going to transition into 3D figures, such as a cube or a rectangular prism, a cylinder, and shapes like that. So just know that we are transitioning from 2D to three-dimensional. So when I think of three-dimensional, the first things that come to mind for me are a tissue box or a roll of toilet paper being a cylinder or a can of soup. Even your cell phone is a rectangular prism. All of those are 3D shapes. Before we get started in the math part of this, here are some words of wisdom for you. This quote says that so much time and effort is spent wanting to be different. And imagine if we spent the same time being comfortable with who we are right now. As you carry on through this week and as we move towards the end of the school year, I want you to come back to this and spend some time thinking and reflecting on who you are right now in this moment. There's a lot going on in the world that we can't control right now, but you can control your thinking, you can control your breathing, and you can control how you feel about yourself. You are all incredible people who are working so hard, and just know that I continue to be very proud of you. All right, so I told you we're talking about surface area. What is surface area? If we were in class right now, we would be wrapping presents. I would give you guys different size cardboard boxes or cubes, rectangular prisms, and some wrapping paper. So when we think about surface area, I want you to make the connection to wrapping paper and using the least amount of wrapping paper possible to cover the entire surface. That's what surface area is, how much it takes to cover a 3D surface. So here in the pink, you can see a cube. It would be how much pink paper would it take to wrap each side of the cube. That's surface area. We know that area of a two-dimensional figure is how much space it takes up, like a yard. And a 3D figure is made up of different faces that are 2D figures. So this cube has 6 different faces, all of which are a square. This rectangular prism has also 6 faces, and they are different sized rectangles. So surface area is finding how much it takes to cover all of the sides. I'm going to grab, let's see what I have near. My Kindle is next to me. So my Kindle is an example of a rectangular prism. So there are all the sides of my 3D Kindle. So when they're making the case for this, they actually have to think of surface area. How much space is going to be covered by the case? And on the next slide, we're going to talk about, so how do we find surface area? Well, finding surface area is pretty simple once you know how to find area. If I asked you to find the area of this rectangle, you would multiply the length times the width. Well, all you're going to do for surface area is find the area of each side of your 3D figure and then add them together. So for my Kindle, I would find, trying to fit us both in the screen here, I would find the area of this rectangle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once I found the area of all 6 faces by doing length times width, I would add them together and poof, there is your surface area. So we are going to do a few examples today together on this video, and then you'll continue to do some practice after this and a little bit more later on in the week. So here we have a cube. It looks like a little candle here. And we can see that the width is 2 inches. Because it's a cube, which is made up of squares, we can assume that the length and the width are going to be the same. So we have a 2 by 2 square here for one face. I'm going to go into another screen for a moment, and let's think of what the area would be of one of the faces. If it's a 2 by 2, I'm multiplying length times width, and that would give me 4. So it would be 4 square inches. So then if I wanted to find the surface area, I would have to think of what is the area of all 6 sides and add them together. All right, so if my area of one side was 4 square inches, my surface area, I'm going to have to do 6 times 4 because there are 6 sides to my cube. Okay, so 6 times 4 would give me 24 square inches. So the surface area for my candle would be 24 square inches. Again, because I found the area of one side, which was 4, and then multiplied it by 6 because there are 6 sides. Now I was able to multiply it by 6 because it's a cube and we know that all sides are equal. So then it looks a little bit different when we have a shape like this, which is a rectangular prism. So for this rectangular prism, I'm going to kind of split up the area a little bit so I can keep track of it a little bit better. So I'm going to start by looking at the base or the bottom right here. So the length times width would be 6 times 5, which is 30. So my base has an area of 30, and my top is going to be the same, right? Because it's a rectangular prism. So 30 and 30. 30 and 30 makes 60. So the area of my bases, the top and the bottom, is 60. All right, now I'm going to do this front side right here. So my length times my width is 4 times 6, which is 24. And I have one in the front, and then I have another one like that right in the back. So 24 plus 24 is 48. So 2 of my sides together is 48. And then I have my short sides over here, and I have to do my length times my width. So I'm going to do 5 times 4, which is 20. And there's 1 here and 1 here, which is 40. Now I want to make sure that I have all 6 sides. So I had 2 bases, 2 long sides, and 2 short sides. 2, 4, 6. All right, so that's the area of all 6 sides. And then to find the surface area, I need to add them all up and make sure I label them correctly. When I add them all up, I will get 148 centimeters squared. So my surface area for this rectangular prism is 148 centimeters squared. Again, I found the area of all 6 sides and then added them up. And what I did to help me is I found the area of one side and then saw if there were any other sides that were just like it and then multiplied and added along the way. We're going to try one more together and look at a shape that's a little different. Okay, so to start, I'm going to look at the base here at the bottom. So I can tell that this is a square. I also know it's a square because they're not giving me the length measurement, they're only giving me the width, so I can assume that it's a square. So, and I know to find the area of a square, I'm going to multiply length times width. So length times width would be 3. When we multiply 3 times 3 for the base, we are going to get an area of 9 square inches. So I'm going to go over here, and my area of base is 9 square inches. Okay, now I need to find the area of my sides, which are triangles. Okay, so think back. How do I find the area of a triangle? Remember, it's base times height divided by 2. So my base is 3. My height is 5. So base times height, 5 times 3 is 15, and then divided by 2, which would be 7.5. Okay, so the area of my sides of one side is 7.5 square inches. I'm going to go back to my picture. How many sides do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one in the front too. It's super important to look really carefully at your pictures. Again, easier if we're in person because then we'd be able to put marker on them or a sticky note to make sure we've counted the sides. So it's super careful to look really closely at the image to make sure you're counting the sides correctly. So now that I know that I have 4 sides, I'm going to put that here as a reminder. What am I going to have to do with that 7.5? I'm either going to have to add it 4 times or I'm going to have to multiply 7.5 times 4. So I want you to go ahead and do that now. Multiply or add that 7.5 times 4. And when you do that, you'll get 30 square inches. So my last step to find the surface area is to add it up. So the area of my base was 9 square inches. The total of my 4 sides was 30 square inches. So I'm going to add them together to get 39 square inches. So my surface area for this prism is 39 square inches. Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot to keep track of, but you got this. You know how to do it. So for today's practice, remember, in order to find surface area, which is how much wrapping paper you would need to cover the entire 3D figure, you're going to find the area of each side and then add them up. Just like you did with area, you're going to label your units squared. So inches squared, square inches, centimeters squared, square centimeters, just like you did with area. So today's all about surface area. Tomorrow's going to be about volume, how much can fit inside a 3D figure. And then on Friday, we'll do a kind of a combination review of both. So if you're still feeling a little shaky about this, don't worry, we will continue to go over it on Friday. As always, please email me with questions. Happy to answer your questions over email or hop onto a Google Meet with you. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at our Google Meet at 11 o'clock. Have an awesome rest of your day. See you tomorrow.